You should always take action a little bit before you are ready, is the advice I give. So if you're not ready and it's really a huge task, okay, maybe wait a little bit, take steps to get closer to being ready. But several months before you're ready, go ahead and do it. Try it because you're going to rise to the occasion. If you feel like you're almost ready and then you start, you go, but I better work harder because I know that I can do this. Whereas if you think I can never do it, you'll just give up. You don't want to give up.
The man you just heard is Robert Greene, the American author of many best-selling books like The 48 Laws of Power, The Art of Seduction, 33 Strategies of War, and I believe he's written some other ones. I highly recommend you guys check out his work. He writes some really good books. And in this video clip, he's talking about the reason you should always take action before you feel completely ready. And the reason you should do that is because if you convince yourself that you're not ready, then you're never going to take action. If you hold that thought in your mind, oh, I'm just not ready yet, maybe next time, maybe next week, next month, that quickly turns into next year and then the next fucking decade. That's the issue with having that mindset of, I'm just not ready yet. And so he also mentioned sometimes you really are not ready. If the task is too big, if it's too overwhelming, if it's too complex, and you genuinely don't have the education necessary or the experience necessary, well, maybe educate yourself a little bit. Learn a little bit, do some studying, but eventually you need to take action. And you can't wait until the moment that you say to yourself, okay, now I'm 100% ready to attempt this task. Because you'll be waiting forever, as I just said. And if you've been listening to the podcast for a while now, then you probably know exactly what I'm about to say. But for all the new listeners, or for those of you that haven't heard the message in a while, I'd like to reiterate this crucial idea for anybody learning any skill, but certainly people learning to speak a foreign language, and in this case, English. Because so many people have this mentality of, I'm just not ready yet. I can understand some English, but I can't maintain a conversation. I can't put sentences together. I'm just not ready to talk to real people. When the reality is the only way you're ever going to feel ready is by doing the fucking thing, getting the experience, learning from those experiences, and then doing it again even better than you did it the last time. You just got to do it. So if you're listening to this podcast, you're certainly at the level where you are ready to at least try to talk to people. Because I'm not speaking basic elementary textbook English as if I'm speaking to beginners. Nobody listening to this is a beginner. If you can understand 75% of what I'm saying, you're not a beginner, which means it is time for you to put all this shit into practice, bro. And the reason that you should do it before you feel 100% ready is because you can only learn through experience. Confidence is gained through experience. So you have to take the risk. And the good news is that we're just talking about making conversation with human beings. One of the most natural things for us to do, we communicate with each other. That is what we do. We're not talking about like running for president or starting a company or nothing like that, asking for a woman's hand in marriage or some shit like that. Just talking to people, bro. Just talking to people. So you have to start, you gotta take action before you feel ready, because when you try to make conversation with people, you're gonna quickly realize there's a bunch of stuff I don't know how to say. There's a bunch of things these people are saying that I don't understand. Their culture is clearly different, and I'm not sure why they do the things that they do, or why they say the things that they say, or how they're saying the things that they say. I don't understand all this stuff. But by talking to people, you get more exposure to those very things that you don't understand, those very things that are giving you anxiety or making you feel nervous. And the more experience, the more exposure you get to those things, the more you start to understand. And like Robert said in his video clip, when you do that, you realize, damn, I'm actually capable of doing this thing that I was so afraid to do. Once you have that first conversation and you can understand the majority of what somebody says, that makes you feel good. You're like, holy shit. Just a few months ago, I could have never dreamed of doing this, but here I am doing it before I felt I was actually ready to do it. That makes you feel better about yourself, bro. It makes you feel confident in yourself, which is what you want. It's exactly what you want. And so then you do it the first time, and you're like, oh shit, damn, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be. It was just all in my head. It's just a mental game. Me fighting against myself. That's all it is. And once you realize you can do it and you've had a little bit of success, now you don't want to go backwards. You don't want to go back to just scrolling on TikTok, watching things and passively understanding most of the stuff that you hear. Now you feel even more motivated. You have an even stronger or deeper reason to try again. I don't want to move back. I want to keep moving forward. So I should probably talk to somebody tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next day. And even if I feel nervous when I'm doing it, guess what? I'm fucking doing it. I'm doing it. And it's not about proving anything to anybody else. Who gives a fuck what other people think? Proving it to yourself, bro. Because that's what it is. You just don't believe you're capable of doing this thing. This simple thing, which is making noises with your fucking mouth that other people understand. Just talking to people, bro. Something so simple. But you don't believe that you can do it. You don't believe you have everything that's necessary to get it done. But if you just try to do it, you will more than likely pleasantly surprise yourself. And I know I'm being repetitive, but once you surprise yourself, you're like, holy shit, I can actually speak and understand this language. All the work that I've been putting in up to this point has been worth it. And you won't actually believe the work you're putting in is worth it until you try to do the thing and you realize you can do it. That's what so many people are missing. They don't know what they're doing or why they're doing it, just passively watching videos, passively listening to podcasts. Maybe they're reading a few things here and there, a couple of emails or text messages or some shit like that. Just passively just spending time without any real reason, telling themselves, oh, I'm learning English. Eventually, I'm going to speak to somebody. And then it comes time, they have the perfect opportunity to speak to somebody, and they say, oh, well, I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know what to talk about. How am I supposed to keep a conversation going? And I'm here to tell you, bro, like I've said countless times before on this podcast, like I'm going to say countless more times on this podcast, the only way to learn how to do those things is by practicing. That's why I'm always telling you, instead of watching stupid videos on the internet, why don't you take some time to study the art of communication? There is an endless amount of free information on the internet that will teach you about fundamental concepts of communication, about the differences between your culture and my culture and somebody else's culture, and how we all communicate and why we communicate in that way. And once you have a basic understanding of these fundamental concepts, it is time to take action. You just gotta do it, bro. Just gotta do it. I don't know how else to say it, but I'm gonna pound it into your fucking head until you send me a message saying, Tony, you were right, bro. It was all in my head. I was just afraid that I was gonna sound stupid. I was gonna make mistakes, that the conversation was gonna be awkward, and I wouldn't know how to get out of those weird silent moments. But guess what? I remembered your words, and I just kept fucking going. That first conversation was a little rocky. The second one wasn't that much better. The third one was more or less the same, but I stuck with it week after week after week after week. And 3 months later, bro, I'm having conversations every day. I'm starting to think and to dream in English, all because I didn't wait until I was ready to take action. I knew that I had the basics and that I wasn't going to learn anything else by consuming the same shit every day. I had to take action. I had to put my shit into practice. I'm going to keep pounding it into your head until you send me that message, bro, because it really is that simple. Stop looking for tips and tricks and hacks and shortcuts and secrets. Just put in the fucking work. Because you can do it, bro. If you can sit here and listen to this podcast, I want you to stop and consider the fact that whenever you started learning English, you would not have been able to understand everything that I'm saying right now. But you're listening to me, comprehending the words that I'm saying. There was a time when you couldn't do that. So remember that the next time you're afraid to speak because you don't know how to talk to people, don't know what to say. Remember that. There was a time when you couldn't understand anything anybody was saying to you in English. Just like there was a time when you couldn't put together a single sentence in English. But the more you did it, the better you got at it. So why are we complicating the process? Why are we acting like we're missing something? The only thing you're missing is the fucking action, bro. It's the action. You can't wait until you feel ready, because that's never going to happen. You're not going to wake up one day and say, okay, today is the fucking day. I'm ready. I have everything I need, and I'm going to take action. That's not going to happen, bro. What's most likely going to happen, what's almost certainly going to happen, is it's going to be time to talk to somebody, and you're going to feel those butterflies in your stomach. You might even start to shake a little bit. You might start to doubt yourself. And that is the moment when you need to jump into the deep end of the fucking pool and just learn how to swim, bro. That's it. That is it. Nobody's going to be here to hold your fucking hand down the path to proficiency in English. It's not going to happen. Anybody who says they're going to do that for you is trying to sell you some shit. Trying to sell you some shit that you don't need. You don't need to buy anything because you can't buy confidence. You can't buy action, bro. Only you can do it. And I'm here to tell you that you can do it. So stop waiting for the moment that you feel ready to talk to real people. And the next time you feel nervous about it, just remember Tony's words. Remember Robert Greene's words. You need to take action before you feel ready, because that's the only way you're going to get the experience and thus the confidence that makes you feel ready. So just do it.